HarperCollins presents The Watchmaker's Hand by Jeffery Deaver, read by Edoardo Ballerini. For Jerry Sussman, patriot, family man, and friend. E5CCEBD2F80138B228AB8C840A6C5A9277D53BCFF 0C66B8033525DC8F6CBFD648. The computer algorithm hash translation of time is an illusion. Albert Einstein. Part 1. Person of Interest. Chapter 1. His gaze over the majestic panorama of Manhattan, 218 feet below, was interrupted by the alarm. He had never before heard the urgent electronic pulsing on the job. He was familiar with the sound from training, while getting his fall protection certificate, but never on shift. His level of skill and the sophistication of the million-dollar contraption beneath him were such that there had never been a reason for the high-pitched sound to fill the cab in which he sat. Scanning the 10 by 8-inch monitors in front of him, yes, a red light was now flashing. But at the same time, apart from the urgency of the electronics, Gary Halprin knew that this was a mistake, a sensor problem. And yes, seconds later, the light went away. The sound went away. He nudged the control to raise the 18-ton load aloft, and his thoughts returned to where they had been just a moment ago. The baby's name. While his father hoped for William, and his wife's mother for Natalia, neither of those was going to happen. Perfectly fine names, but not for Peggy and him, not for their son or daughter. He'd suggested they have some fun with their parents. What they decided at last? Kierkegaard if a boy, Bathsheba if a girl. When she first told him these, Gary had said, "Bathsheba, you mean? From the Bible?" "No, Bathsheba. My imaginary pony when I was 10. Kierkegaard and Bathsheba, they would tell the parents, and then move on to another topic, quickly. What a reaction they'd... The alarm began to blare again, the light to flash. They were joined by another excited box on the monitor, the load moment indicator. The needle was tilting to the left above the words, "Moment imbalance." Impossible. The computer had calculated the weight of the jib in front of him, extending the length of a Boeing 777, and the weight on the jib behind. It then factored into the balance game the weight of the load in front and the weight of the concrete counterweights behind. Finally, it measured their distance from the center, where he sat in the cab of the crane. "Come on, Big Blue. Really?" Gary tended to talk to the machines he was operating. Some seemed to respond. This particular Baylor HT 4200 was the most talkative of them all. Today, though, she was silent, other than the warning sound. If the alarm was blaring for him, it was blaring in the supervisor's trailer, too. The radio clattered, and he heard in his headset, "Gary, what?" He replied into the stalk mic. "Gotta be an LMI sensor problem. If there was moment 5 minutes ago, there's moment now. Nothing's changed. Wind? None. Sensor, He fell silent, feeling the tilt. "Hell," he said quickly. "It is a moment fault. Forward jib is 0.39 degrees down. Wait, now 0.4. Was the load creeping toward the end of the blue latticed jib on its own? Had the trolley become detached from the drive cables? Gary had never heard of that happening. He looked forward, saw nothing irregular. Now, minus 0.5. Nothing is more regulated and inspected on a construction site than the stability of a tower crane, especially one that soars this high into the sky and has within its perimeter a half-dozen structures, and hundreds, perhaps thousands, of human souls. Meticulous calculations are made of the load, in this case 36,000 pounds of 6 by 4-inch flange beams, and the counterweights, the rectangular blocks of cement, to make sure this particular crane can lift and swing the payload. Once that's signed off on, the info goes into the computer and the magic balance is maintained, moving the counterweights behind him back and forth ever so slightly to keep the needle at 0. Moment. Minus 0.51.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?